Morning. Anybody there? Morning. Hi, who's there? Say hello. Hi, Judy. Hi, Judith. I've got the camera around the right way today. Hopefully that'll be better for you guys. Hi, Sam. Thanks, Judy. Okay, so we're looking at life quotes. We won't be here as long as we were yesterday, hopefully, because I've got a much simpler card to show you. So we're looking at the life quotes again from Phil. It's not a one-day special anymore because obviously that one's expired and Leonie's doing a different one at the moment. But that doesn't mean that we can't show you the demos that I would have done had I have been there. So the plan is to do one each day at 11. So it's a regular time for you guys up until I have to have a bit of a panic and try and get some... Yeah, I will teach Phil how to do it the right way, don't worry. Yeah, he's busy packing though, Phil, at the moment, all on his own. So, if you're waiting for orders to come, please be patient with him because obviously with this social distancing thing, he's got to do all the work himself and it takes quite a long time to pack. I've got some Pentart shows on the 6th of April, which is a week on Monday. And I believe, because they'll be on new times then, I believe they're at 7 and 11. But I've got to film some videos and I don't have the product yet. It's just leaving Hungary today. So I shall, from Monday onwards, be panicking a little bit, trying to get stuff ready. So anyway, in the meantime, hi Maria, we'll be... doing some little demos on here at 11 each day, like I say, until I'm panicking and trying to get the stuff ready for the 6th. So we're looking at, this is the card we're going to do today, but we're going to use a different sentiment. I think this sentiment's absolutely brilliant. All of the life quotes are really great for your focal images. Phil's about sentiments, hence Sentimentally Yours. So they are the focal image here. We're going to use a different one. We're going to use some flowers and we're going to use some of the extras textures in there. So I thought we'd actually use, instead of the stronger one, I thought we'd use the Believe one instead. They're all going to fit. They're all going to look absolutely fantastic in here. So let's move this to one side and get started. Now the papers that we're using are the Aurora papers from the new brushstrokes collection. As you can see, we've got it's not quite what it says on here actually. It's 40 A4 sheets, 4 designs, 5 colours. So that's what makes 40. 2 sheets of each, and they fade from one colour to the next. Obviously there's different designs in there, but what it means is that you can actually have, say, your focal image as one colour and then your background is a different one, but you've only actually used one piece of A4. They're single-sided, so you don't have to stress about using just one or the other. Hi Eva. Right, let's get started. So I've already gone ahead and done my die cutting. So I've got an oval here from one side. You see my paper here, started in a kind of brown colour and fades into the sort of bluey grey colour. So that's just one sheet of A4 that's got both my die cuts out, and there is actually a little bit left over, so if you wanted to step up your sentiment, so like on here, if you wanted to stamp the Believe and have it raised, there's a little bit of extra paper left over for you to do that. So let's get stamping. I need my stamp press. And I'm using the Stamp Perfect from Hampton Art, which is a really good one. You know, for years I've had stamping platforms. Hi Gloria, Hanukkah and Stephanie, morning. You got a coffee? you probably will need one. So the Stamp Perfect, I've had a platform for years, haven't got on with it at all, you know, really didn't like it, but this one I really do like. So let's open this up. Sorry about the wobble. Pop that in place, and we'll grab our sentiment. So these are all A6 stamps. They're going to fill your ovals beautifully. And the idea is that you can really line them up quite nicely. See, that fits beautifully, and there's a little bit of space there, so if you wanted to expand the design you could do. I think that's straightish. It doesn't really matter actually, because the future word there is on a slant, so it doesn't really matter if the rest is. And we're going to emboss with white again. I know I used white yesterday, but I really like embossing with white. We'll do a different colour tomorrow. Lots of inking. I'm using the Wow embossing ink, which is my embossing ink of choice now. Really, in my opinion, is the best. See if I can do a better job at stamping than I did yesterday. Right, okay. Hold that over. Give it a good old press. Hopefully my magnet is not in the way, but we'll soon find out, won't we? It's only the end of an arrow, so it won't matter too much. Give it a good old press. Make sure the ink bonds with the paper nicely. Obviously we're using the embossing ink rather than a VersaFine, so it's more important for you to make sure that you're well inked up on the first sitting, really. Okay, pull that away. See where we're at. That's the wrong one. You don't want to see that. I use all my scraps when my computer has a little fit, my printer has a fit. I use all my scraps of paper, and some of them have got things on them that you really don't want to see. Not rude things, obviously, but you know. Embossing ink. So that looks fantastic anyway, doesn't it? I'm forgetting we're round the right way. I'm showing you the wrong way. Hi, Karen. Did you manage to get to the post office? There's quite a few of the post offices are shut, I think. Right. So that's beautiful, isn't it? Hi, Sue. Sue from Indigo Blue. Not sure when I'll do another Indigo Blue show, actually. Because of the way things are. We're just sending videos in at the moment. Okay, so we're going to emboss this now, and you'll see how beautifully it embosses. And I've just used the pure white Sentimentally Yours embossing powder, and see it pop. These papers really do take the embossing powders beautifully. Just follow it around. Don't do all this business. Just follow it around, and obviously you'll see it change colour, and then you move on to the next area. If you're too close, or if you stay on an area too much, what you'll find is that the embossing powder will flatten, and you won't get that nice raised finish, and sometimes you can actually scorch your card. As usual, I like embossing from ahead. Phil likes embossing from underneath. Isn't that lovely? Morning, darling. Don't watch because I'm doing it my way, not your way. That's beautiful, isn't it? Right, let's go on to our background. So we're using the other half of our paper, and we're using a double debossed rounded corner rectangle. Lovely deboss finish to these. I'll hold it up so maybe you might be able to see a little bit better. Can you see on there? Maybe. There's a little bit of a delay, so I can't. Yeah, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, right. So we need to dust that with our anti-static bag. It does rhyme, doesn't it, Sue? Right, there we go. Good old anti-staticing. And we're going to do our background with one of the extras textures. So see, from this stamp set, we've got, I'll turn it over for you, we've got some borders. So we've got the stars and the polka dot borders, and then we've got some smaller background stamps which are really useful. I used this one yesterday on the Facebook Live, so you can go back and see that. Morning, Gail. We're going to use this lovely flourish one here. So this is where you might nod off because I didn't do any ahead of time. I would have done if I was at Hochanda, but we're having a chat here. So one of the things about using an embossing pad is you can't necessarily see where you've been. Let's get another piece of paper underneath this. So do I bother? No, I won't. Change my mind. I won't bother. Right, so we're going to just do the flourish, and we're going to hang it off of the bottom just a little bit. And we might have to, I can see where it is. If you can't see where it is, depends on how dark or light the paper is. You might need to add your embossing powder, you know, in between each stamping. Because our oval's going on top, we only need to stamp around the edge. We could also use some of Trudy's stamps. There's the delicate floral and the, I think it's called, the other one, elegant floral, is it? Or fancy floral? Trudy will tell me what it's called. I can't remember. But there's two backgrounds, clear backgrounds by Trudy that you could use. You could also use some of Phil's rubber background stamps. Obviously, you can bring your other makes in here. You could bring your indigo blue stamps in. See, I'm getting them in. There we go. Let's put some embossing powder on this bit first so it doesn't dry. You do have to remember that, you know, your embossing ink's gonna dry. So don't do the whole thing. You may be all right, but you know, just to be safe, let's just put it on what we've done so far. Look at that already. Doesn't that look fabulous? I love this stamp. I would like, Phil, if you're still watching, I would like a whole stamp, a whole background stamp with this flourish, please, because I think it would be fabulous. Who else agrees? Hi, Beryl. And move your stamp around a little bit so you're getting different sides of your flourish. And go off the page as well. It's a lot easier actually to stamp, because obviously what I've done is I've cut the die cut out already, and we've got that double deboss ridge around the edge. Now sometimes that's quite hard to stamp over, especially when we're using card. You'll see that probably in the Facebook Live I do tomorrow, that you know, you get gaps in your image. But when you're actually stamping on paper, because it's a thinner medium, then you don't get quite so many interruptions in your image when you're stamping around the edges. That's just something to bear in mind. Let's see, let's turn this one round that way. See where I'm going. Now we will have an issue when we get right the way to the middle, but I can show you how to fix that. We need a little tiny bit going off of the edge there, so we'll try and stay in line, and then I'm going to add some more embossing powder so I can see where I'm at. I might even need to heat set this before I do the final bit, but we'll see. We'll have a look, see what we're like. Look at that. It's just so pretty, isn't it? And that paper's just transformed just by that. It's very elegant, this flourish. Maybe that's a good name for it, Phil. Elegant flourish. Anything for me. Now, you've seen that. That's in writing now. Anything for me, he says. Anything. Oh, look, it fits. That's going to be perfect. No, I don't need to do any masking. That's going to be absolutely perfect. Couldn't have planned that better at all. I'll pop that in the middle and then we'll heat set it. Hi, Teresa. You can always watch it back from the beginning when I finished. You haven't missed loads. Well, you have really, but you know. Let's put this last bit in, trying to smudge everything. And then we'll heat set. Oh, put my finger in there. You obviously, you at home don't have a camera arm right above you. So you've got a little bit more space. Look at that. That's so pretty, isn't it? I hope you agree. Yeah, that stamp is really forgiving. Really forgiving. A lot of them are though, but you know, it's a background. There's absolutely nothing to stress about with the background. If it doesn't look perfect, then it's just grungy, isn't it? So it's allowed. I don't even mind where if you get little spots of embossing powder kind of going astray. Leonie did do some actual live demonstrations on the 1 o'clock show yesterday, so you can see what she was up to. There's a few Leonie moments which she kind of said herself, which was quite funny. It's hilarious. But she made a fantastic card with the essential rectangles, and she did some little thin frames, and it looked really good, really, really good. I really like that background. So look how fabulous that's going to look when I just pop that on top there, which is obviously what I'm going to do in a minute, but that's just lovely, isn't it? Oh, so you charmer. Right, okay, so we can actually start a little bit of construction now. So what we've got, oh, by the way, while your paper's warm, you might find that it's a little bit kinky, the emboss, because it moves when you heat it. So if you just pop it underneath a piece of wood or a book or something like that, I've got an MDF piece under here, and I normally pop it under there and it'll sort itself out, so don't worry about that. So I've got here the rounded corner rectangles cut out of the Sentimentally Yours Almond Hue card, which is a creamy colour card, and I've cut the largest one and I've got the next one down, so you can see I've got my mats and layers there all set. Now if you want to make an actual card blank, all you need to do is cut 2 of the largest one, and on one of them score, I normally do 1 centimetre in with a scoreboard, and then pop some glue down that scored area, pop your other one on top, leave it to set, and then you've got a card, because obviously it's going to fold back along the score lines, so it's easy to do yourself a card. And that card would measure in inches, in old money it would be 6.5 inches by 7 3/4 inches. So that will go in an 8x8 envelope, and with a little bit to spare and for your flowers and things. So okay, so we've got some, I've got 2mm foam tape on the back here. Hi Wendy. And we're just going to stack this up. Let's see if that's straightish over my camera. Yeah. And then we're just going to glue this one into place. This is the Phil's glue, the large tub. It's the same glue in all the different tubs. Less is more with glue, especially when you're on paper. I'm actually pushing the nozzle into the paper so that I'm only getting a little bit out rather than loads. And we pop that down. Obviously it doesn't really, let's have the brown bit at the bottom because I've got a little bit of brown there on the paper. And pop that down. And then I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of this one. Scissors. What have I done with my scissors? Oh, there they are. Try and have everything around me and then can't remember where I put it. I can't see anything right in front of me at all. So yesterday when I didn't get the camera all sorted out properly, my son comes in. So my son's 24 next month, I think. Is he? Yes, he is. He's got no, I have to put far too much tape on here. He's got no patience at all. So he's like, you know, all young people. Instead of showing you and patiently showing you how to do things, they just snatch it off you and just do it. But we're sorted, aren't we? So it doesn't really matter how we got there, but we're sorted. So Phil, if you need to know, I will tell you how to do it. So look at that. That's just fabulous, isn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Even if I say so myself. So you could stop there. You don't need to do any more with it. Should we add some bit of glitter? What do you think, ladies? Glitter? I can say ladies because we can say ladies and Phil. I'm not going to ask Phil because he'll say put loads of glitter on it. Should we have some glitter? Yes? No? Anybody out there telling me glitter or not? Let's put some on because nobody said anything, so I'll put some on. Just to keep Phil happy. So around the double debossed area, we're just going to put some glue. It's like an inner ridge that's raised. Obviously you're going to see this at the moment because it's white, but it does dry clear. It doesn't have to be too straight. It's not going to be straight anyway, is it? Glitter, yeah, Diamond Dazzle. I don't know if I've got Diamond Dazzle, have I? Let me have a look. I should have. Have you given me Diamond Dazzle? I've got Diamond Dazzle, look. Here you go. I'm going to go for a load of flowers. Don't worry, Teresa. Loads of flowers. Well, not as many as Phil. I'm not doing 97 million. Otherwise, you'll definitely drop off. I don't want that piece of card. Look, I've got my piece of paper here that says glitter G because I've got a different one for embossing powder. That's because I can't stand glitter in embossing powder. Just cannot stand it. Right, let's add a little bit of glitter to this then. I'm not adding glitter to my leaves and things though. I'm going to put a load on and then I'll press it into the glue just to make sure it's adhered. And we just give it a flick on the floor. The cat's not there, so it's fine. So I did get a request from, I can't remember who it was now, I'm sorry, to bring Ed in at the end, but, I missed. But my cat won't let us pick him up for more than about 10 seconds. We've had him for nearly 3 years and he still won't let us pick him up. We're persevering, but we're not managing it. So, but I will perhaps go and do a little video of him later so you can see him. So there's my glittered area. So now we're going to just do our flowers. So I've got some that I've already done. On the original one, in fact, let's do a little bit of stamping first. How are we doing for time? Oh, 25 minutes, we're all right. Okay. Right, I've got a piece of almond hue card here, and we're going to dust it with my anti-static bag. Where is it? There it is. And we're going to stamp the Elegance Flowers And I've just used the same 6 throughout all of my samples that I've made for the shows. And I've got them on my smaller Stamp Perfect press. And so if you use an A6 piece of card, I find I can just keep on stamping them in the same position all of the time. Win-win. Shouldn't you be working, Philip? Get packing. These people want their stamps so they can craft along. Get on with it. Again, embossing ink, and we're going to use the cracked pepper embossing powder on this one, which I thought for this particular card would be nice with the kind of brown colour that's in the paper. Okay, right. Just looking at the conversations that are going on. There's my bit of paper. Okay, so the cracked pepper is a lovely kind of brown colour. The smoky quartz is very lovely too. I know that's one of Phil's favourites. Now where's my other bit of paper? Where's my bit that says E on it? There it is, embossing powder. And you see these flowers, they're beautiful, and the dyes coordinate with them beautifully. He's done a really good job at these. I wasn't too sure about this particular flower when he said let's have these on this show, but they are really pretty, because my favourite is the sweetheart flowers, but I really like these as well. And there's a lot of, do keep your embossing powders in your pot because they are anti-static, and so are the pots. And these are 20ml pots, so these are big pots. They're going to last you absolutely ages and ages. I'll just heat set these. Look at these little dots. So fine, they're beautiful. Can't really see. I think I'm setting this, so I'll have a look in a minute. I'll give it a little wiggle. So when you wiggle in front of the light, then you'll be able to see where the embossing powder's set. Let's see if we're all set. There we are, all set. Beautiful. Okay. So then what you do is you take your Elegance Flowers dies. I'm getting a bit of a mess down here. I've got my flower dies somewhere. It's because I've got that glitter out. I'll just grab my biggest one that I've used, which is that one. These are the dies, by the way. You don't get as many dies as you do stamps, but you don't need them. But you do get multiples of the smaller sizes, which is very handy. So these are designed so that when you pop your die over the top, you can see where you're going. There's just a very thin amount of the line, the stamp line around the edge. So you do need low tack tape. Make sure you've got low tack tape. Pop it down, run it through. You can get all of them in as long as you've put your stamps on your card with a big enough gap so that the metal it doesn't overlap. You can cut all those at the same time. That's what I did. Put my die back. So going back to the flowers. Now on my original card, they're shaped like this, so they're kind of cupped, so they're, the recess is in the middle, so they're pointing up. But we're going to do them a different way. We're going to do them pointing down. And I did that shape yesterday. So we're going to take the tweezers. These are part of a set of 3 from Sentimentally Yours. And yesterday, to get them, and on my original card, to get them facing up, you pop your tweezer in the middle and you point up. Like that, you cup up, and that's how you get the original shape. But if you change that around and actually do it that way, then you're going to get the shape that we're doing now. So just by using exactly the same technique, but by pointing down rather than up, you're going to get a totally different looking flower. And then these are on the paper, and this was embossed with the white. I quite like to do opposite colours. I think tomorrow we'll do the vellum one, which is quite interesting, how the vellum behaves. Right, so we need a little bit of glue in the centre. Finish with those now. Do put the protective caps back on. These pointy ones are extremely pointy. And we're going to go with this one, plain one on the bottom, and the decorative one on the top. So when we now poke this with an embossing tool, you watch. You see? So it all goes pointy. Totally different flower to that one. Looks entirely different, doesn't it? I'm reading what Phil's saying. Right, okay, so now we put our flowers on. Remember, my glue is still wet here on my glitter, and so it's going to dry clear, and all the kinks that you see with the wet glue there, they will sort themselves out and you won't see those. So we've got some lush leaves here, and they've got a beautiful debossed element to them, just like most of Phil's dies. Both of the leaves have debossed detail as well as your essentials. So we're going to do, and there's a left and a right on each of them. So I'll pop my leaves on first. Let's see, let's pop it down there, let's tuck it around there. Obviously it's going onto an embossed background, so it takes a little bit more sticking. Pop that in, let's put it away a bit. I don't like to have my leaves floating around too much. I like to have them fairly secure, if I can manage it, if they're going to stick. That way then when the presenters handle them, they don't get all snagged. So put this one over here, give it a good old poke, stay down, and then we'll put these leaves down here. Make sure I'm central. Bottom here. You can of course colour in little elements as well, so we could use the watercolour blending brush pens to perhaps colour in the believe, or even colour in the back ground there. If you didn't want to layer it up with a different colour, you could colour that in. The watercolour blending brush pens work perfectly well on top of the papers. Hi Maureen, oh, I miss you. Miss you. Maureen's my friend who we go to supper clubs and eat out with, and of course we can't do that now, which is a little bit annoying. But there's other days. It'll all be worth it in the end. Better to be safe. I put my smaller one down here. I normally have my larger one down here. That's talking for you. Get distracted. Let's put all my glue on my flowers at once. A little bit unruly. But you can see how well, I mean, I did these earlier. They keep the shape really well, and all of my samples that are in my box, they're keeping their shape really well, which is really good. And that's the quality of the card and the paper that we're dealing with here. Let's put that one down there. Oop, come back. And we'll put the smaller one down here, nearly there. Just need some pearls. Yeah, I'm getting some pearls in. He's so demanding, isn't he? Even from afar, when I can't hear him, I can actually hear him in my head being bossy. How does that look on the screen? Does it look all right? I can't really see how it looks, but hopefully it looks all right. So we're going to use the Inky Sky. So I think these will coordinate beautifully. These are they're like ombre pearls. They're like two-toned. There's black and there's blue on there, which is not going to show probably on the screen, but I think this one will be really nice with it. And there's Phil's lovely mum, Julia. It's a great name, that. Packs the pearls for him. We need a shout out for Julia because she does an absolutely sterling job. And there's approximately 400 pearls in each one. And there's just 5mm and 8mm in these ones. And you can only get these. See, I like you to buy things from me if you can. Obviously, we're sharing the love. You know, buy things from Hochanda. I'm happy with that. Buy it from me. Very happy with that. And you can buy from Phil. But the pearls, if Hochanda have got some left, you can get them from Hochanda. Or you can buy them from Phil. I can't get them because he won't sell them to me. I know. How rude. Thank you, Sue. Oh, yes. Karen's hubby. Oh, my pearl come off in my hand. Let me have another go. Pop that in. Obviously, the with the flowers sticking up like this, it's a little bit harder to get your pearls in. And also, it's going onto an embossed area. As in embossing powder area. So you need to just give it a little bit of time to bond. So obviously, because we're actually got the camera in the right direction, I don't need to hold it up, which helps. So by the time the glue's dry, we'll be absolutely fine. I quite like this colourway. I bet the purpley blue looks black on your screen though. That kind of happens. I noticed that with yesterday's card too. Let's get that in there. Oh, it doesn't want to play. There we go. In. You can, of course, if you don't have the pearls, if you don't manage to get the pearls, just put a load of glitter in the centre of the flowers and that would look lovely too. Do you? Oh, thanks, Caroline. I quite like this as well, but it's so easy to do. There's nothing difficult in this at all. Obviously, I did my die cutting ahead and I've actually cut my flowers and shaped some of my flowers ahead so you're not bored watching me do that all the time. But there's nothing difficult at all about this card. And there we are, all done. Let's do it so that you can actually see it properly, hopefully. So that's today's card. Obviously, I did actually blog this on my blog, Julia Watts Crafts blog, on WordPress, and I did that with the other colourway. I did that on Wednesday, which would have been release day of the 1 day special. The albums are on our Facebook page, and also I'll photograph this and I'll add that to the album. Really? Has he? I thought he'd been tested negative, Sam. Well, I wouldn't want anybody to have it, really. But anyway, yes, so shopping, buy from hochanda.com, buy from me, juliawattscrafts.co.uk. You can get 10% off everything on my website for the foreseeable future. Just enter code STAYATHOME, all one word, capital letters, in the discount code box at checkout, and you'll get 10% taken off. I am still sending stuff out whenever I can. I don't need to see anybody. I just pop it in the franking machine box at the sorting office. And then Honeypot Crafts as well for your pearls if you can't get them anywhere else. Anyway, I will see you guys tomorrow at 11 a.m. Thank you so much for joining me, and stay safe and keep on crafting. Bye.